I'm Robert Therrell.
And I'm Chase Bridges.
We're both screenwriters.
Listen along each week as we
either work together to write a new short film
or go head to head with competing movie pitches.
This is
Written By. Welcome back to Written By Podcast, the number one podcast in the world.
Right behind all the other ones.
What you been up to, Rob?
I'm turning in all these freelance projects I had done. So now it's like I'm back to not being a director. I need to I need something else.
Yeah.
I've been writing a lot though. You have been too.
Yeah, man. I got to do something at my job. Yeah,
all the people are going to be watching this. Like, what? Chase doesn't do anything.
Hey, I work hard.
I could tell. I look at your face. I believe it.
Yeah,
but also he's an actor, so you don't know.
You don't know me, dog.
Yeah.
So you had stuff. You had directing stuff.
Yeah.
And so you've been writing on your feature. You're almost done.
I feel like every time I sit down to work on it, I'll check off one thing off my checklist and then add 5 more things. So, but, writing's rewriting. I'll be done eventually.
I'm not good at, like after I finish a first draft, in my mind, I'm like, I'm done. I got to get better about going through that. Okay, we can stop pretending like we don't have someone in the room with us.
Yeah, guys, we have our first guest of the season. Is a guy we're really excited about. He is an actor, a writer,
a director.
You've probably seen him in a few of your favorite shows, but
Ooh.
He's written shorts, he's written features, he's written music videos.
He wrote this podcast. He wrote what I'm saying right now.
Yeah, he scripted the entire 2 seasons, 80 episodes we put out.
What's your name? No, I'm just...
Guys, we have Gunner Willis in the studio.
Woo!
It started to sound like you were going to introduce ChatGPT.
It was like the AI that has made all of this possible.
Surprise! It wrote everything you're about to hear.
It's like, no, you're a real person.
I am a real person. Today I feel like it at least.
Yeah.
Guys, I will say right off the bat, his most recent short film, Wages of Sin, is currently on Amuletto, and you should check that out. I was on set for that. I was the BTS guy.
It was so fun to have you there.
It's really good, and it's super like, I don't know. I'm not gonna spoil anything. But if you like demon children with dodgeballs, this is the one for you, man.
And if that's a thing you like before watching the short, I'm very curious to know where you got it from. Very curious.
There's someone that's like currently typing into an AI, like, I just need to find a.
Where is this? I finally found it.
So whenever we have a guest, I always feel like we get into like professional when we start these things off, because it's like we're idiots, but we want to give you some sense of like, hey, we're professional.
Oh, dude, I'm wearing a Bigfoot hat. I don't know if
I have a Bigfoot hat.
Let's just get comfortable then. Let's just get comfortable.
Yeah.
So guys,
all your other guests can be professional.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys probably also recognize Gunner from our season 3 promo video. You also probably realize we are all still wearing the wardrobe.
I've got a mustache.
Yeah.
If you've been watching, you've been seeing my facial hair growing over the past few weeks. It was for this. Yeah. And now I got to grow it out again for this other thing I'm doing.
Yeah. Dude, guys, us and Gunner, we got some stuff.
We're the new dream team, dog.
We were talking about this, man. It's like we have so much stuff going on, but you don't want to be that guy that's always like, hey, we got stuff cooking. Big things coming.
Because, I mean, to be completely honest, we have small things coming.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. We got we got some appetizers cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, man,
that's what we got.
Everybody loves some Buffalo Wild Wings zingers.
Yeah.
I just bring that up to say that I've known you for years. I've been a fan for years. We're finally creating together.
I know, it's so cool. Exciting. It's so exciting.
And we're also, segue, we're about to create something right now together.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Usually when we do the episode, we do the interview stuff kind of first, but instead we're going to jump right into it. Speaking of which, So what we're doing today is a little bit different. We're not just selecting from either our bowl or the listener suggestion bowl. We actually have a buddy. You should follow him on Instagram at DarkMoonHV. We'll call him Wedge Wulf. So this guy makes really dope VHS art. He makes fake movies and then creates like a whole cardboard slip as if they're a real movie. And dude's super talented, super fun follow on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. And so we are working with him. Today, we have a bowl full of some of his work in progress covers. And we're going to actually create a short based on one of his work in progress covers. We'll throw up the cover when we select it. And we're going to see what we can come up with.
I got a quick question about this. Are they I heard some of the titles that you've mentioned. Are they all closely related genres, or they're all like all over the place?
They are all like B-movie horror type.
Yeah.
I was such the right person for this episode.
And that's why we chose to do it when you were here.
Yes, I'm so ready.
And also, guys, if you saw that aforementioned season 3 promo video, we collabed with him on that. All those posters in the office, those are his.
Yeah, dude
he is the creator
talented.
of Gunblin, the half goblin, half gun.
Dude's a genius, man. I can't recommend his Instagram enough. So, all right, let's see what we get. Right. Usually we have an actual bowl, but we have Tupperware this week.
Yeah, I will say
I can't tell you how many times I've eaten.
There is one I want. Okay.
So.
All right, we have drawn Deady Bear.
So I'm gonna pass this around.
Oh yeah. So the tagline is "Playtime is about to get grisly."
Oh yes.
And you could actually swipe through all of the different ones if you want. Deady Bear. All right, so
that's great. It feels this is like Chucky adjacent for sure.
A little, yeah.
I think that's a good place to like.
It's
jump
Chucky
off
and Ted combined.
Yes, yeah.
So you can just toss it. Yeah. Seth MacFarlane makes a horror B movie.
Yeah.
Playtime's about to get grisly, and he's got a hammer. So I think that we need to incorporate. I mean, this is a stuffed bear that kills people with a hammer. Is a good jumping off point.
Yeah. So yeah. Also, it's a short film, so we got to keep that in mind.
Actually, I think that's it. I think we're done.
There we go. Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it. Deady Bear with a hammer. That's so
I could picture the Ted origin story. It just goes wrong, whereas like a kid wishes that his teddy bear came to life.
Oh snap!
And it comes to life, but it's kind of like in popular folklore when somebody wants to bring a dead relative back to life, but when they come to life, they don't belong in this realm anymore.
Pet Cemetery type of
Frankenweenie.
Yeah. I can see that. Okay, yeah, I like starting there. That's nice. What? This is such a funny concept too. Okay, Deady Bear.
So I think if you found this VHS tape and you put it in, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It would be really cheesy. And I think, the slogan is playtime is about to get grisly. That's definitely a line that's spoken.
Yeah. So what I love everything that's said, but what I really want to do is like keep it like I love the Deady Bear part of it. Like I want him to actually be dead.
Okay.
Like so like what if it's like a teddy bear like do you guys have siblings? Yeah. Like you ever like get mad at your sibling and just like you don't want to hurt them?
Yeah.
But you're like, I want to take it out on something, so like I'm gonna like kill his toy or something. I'm gonna like throw it or like hide his toy. What if it's something like that to where like there's something about like the teddy bear is getting revenge on the older brother that killed it.
Okay, so I'm just spitballing here. Going off of that, right? So we have an older brother. The little brother does something really annoying, and he just gets so angry. And so when his little brother leaves, he takes his teddy bear and he just rips the head off.
Yeah.
And he throws it out maybe in the backyard or something. He's just so angry, and he's like, And then, or maybe after he rips the head off, he immediately kind of feels guilty. And he's like, that's his stuffed animal. And so he tries to bury it in the backyard so his mom won't find out.
Yeah.
And then that night, you see a little teddy bear hand stick out of the grass.
Yes.
Wait. Yes to everything, but let's combine Robert's idea, like to where like the teddy bear's gone, so the younger brother like wishes that the teddy bear will come back to life.
Okay.
That would be really yeah, it's like, please come back. And he's like, it's like, I'm back.
And he can talk now.
Yeah.
No, when the kid, he's like praying and he's like, please let my teddy bear come back. I don't know where he is. And also, if it's not too much of an ask, can he also talk? and then the hand sticks up.
That's a good
He crawls out of the grass and he just goes, playtime just got a hold.
Well, he should. Have you guys ever had a Build-A-Bear? You guys know they had like you squeeze the arm and it has like one of the. It should it should be set up that like it talks like just that one or two lines, and then like every time it holds the hammer, it presses the
and it says playtime's about to get.
Oh, and that's
grizzly.
what it should be killed with.
Oh,
the older brother should kill
and
it.
then
with
every time the hammer hits, it triggers the voice.
Oh, and it said, I love exactly. So it's, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Yes. Oh man, I love it.
We're off to a hot start in the studio today, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So structure wise, so far, it's opening with the mean older brother ripping the head off, bearing it into the backyard.
Yeah, but I think the little brother has to.
Yeah, it's got to be something. And then like maybe like I know it's a B movie, so we don't have to get anywhere like super relatable, but like something to where like anyone that has a younger brother would understand a little bit. Like it's definitely too far, but like the younger brher has to do something to where it's like
to justify
at least a little bit. Yeah, you know, like I feel like when I was in like third grade, I had to bring my little brother to a birthday party. And it was like the first time I was invited to a birthday party. It was like an ice skating rink. My mom's like, you can go if you bring your little brother. I was like, dang. And he goes, and we're not 5 minutes into it before he falls on the ground and like hits his chin on the ice, and his chin gets stuck to the ice and like rips a little bit of skin, and there's like blood on the ice, and like they have to cancel the whole party. So like something to where like he is like he finally like the little brother maybe neither one of them is very cool, but like the little brother does something to where it's like, you know, both are like slightly understandable, but it's definitely like
he overreacts.
Yeah, way overreacts.
Yeah,
but it's like, man, the kid has this like, you stop embarrassing me, or stop, you know, doing something like that.
I think we need something that like you just see in a shot and you know exactly what happened. But what if it's a big birthday party for this older kid. Their house has a pool. They were having a pool party. The little brother Pete's in the pool. And so we just open on a bunch of kids screaming and running out of the pool.
That's really funny. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So we open with a bunch of kids screaming, running out of the pool. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then maybe the mom is like, I'm sorry. To the older son.
And then the older sibling, who, of course, he still has his birthday hat on, and he's just sitting there. All his friends have run away. Yeah. And he just instantly storms away and rips that bear apart.
So he's probably, when he's being comforted by his mom, he should be holding the bear, right? Yeah. But also something I like is it was the older kid's birthday party that was ruined, but the mom is consoling the little brother that Pete the pool rather than like the kid that just got his birthday ruined, which like that's also right to do as a parent, is like console the kid that peed his pants. Yeah. But like as like, you know, if he's like a third or fourth grader or whatever, like that's super devastating. It's like, what? Like, come on, like he just ruined my party. So maybe that's like another.
The older brothers maybe in middle school.
Yeah,
because that's when you're just so angsty.
Yeah. It's like right when like puberty starts to hit, and you're just like, you know. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Okay, so this is all solid, and so we know what happens in the middle. He tears up the teddy bear. Then he gets scared that his mom's gonna get mad at him, so he buries it in the backyard. The little kid can't find his teddy bear. So he prays that,
and I like it. It has the same vibe as the prayer in the black phone. Do you know that?
Oh yeah. I thought you were gonna say that in Scooby Doo, or not Scooby Doo, Spider Man. Whoops,
the prayer in Scooby Doo.
It's like, dear God, please kill Peter Parker. Like that.
In Spider Man 2, when he's like, God, please kill Peter Parker.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
And he kind of listens because
that's
when
true.
Venom lands on him.
Yeah.
So he's like, please bring my teddy bear back wherever he is. He's my best friend. which at 3rd grade is still a little old, but we've established he's not.
Yeah, they are cool kids. No.
And then he's like, and also if it's not too much of a problem, could you make him talk?
Yeah.
And then I almost think it's really funny if we jump cut to the middle of the night, and that's when the hand
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
We want all this out of the way. We want most of this to be in the murder teddy bear.
Yeah.
Which also, what are the mechanics of a killer teddy bear? Like how is
he's got a hammer?
Teddy bear lethal?
Yeah,
with the hammer.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely the hammer. But
where's it get the hammer?
Well, it's the what he was killed with. I think the kid bangs him with.
And maybe the hammer had like some fuzz on it, and so he just buried the hammer too.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. It's almost like Macbeth, like he can't get the blood off his hands. He can't get the fuzz off the hammer.
Off his hands. I wash and I wash and I wash.
That would be such a funny reference to throw in there. He can even like try to dip it in the pool, and it's just not gonna go.
Like, no, I wash and I wash and I wash.
Dude. So the first major horror sequence before he knows what it is he's up late. He can't sleep. He's still got fuzz on his hands. Maybe also like some stuffed animal has glitter stuff on him.
Yeah.
He's trying to wash his hands. He just, you know how creepy the bathroom could get when it's like 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
He just hears a bunch of creaks. He hears something shudder behind the shower curtain. And he's just like, what is that?
And then starts singing The Box by Roddy Ricch.
Yeah. I don't want to stick in the box.
Put a bit of hit in the box. Tell him
crazy.
I'm going to get lazy. All right.
Well, not the coop with the
not to get a sidetrack, but when I was a kid, I always thought Joker from Batman was hiding behind my shower curtain. Yeah. And so what I would do is I would say really nice things about the Joker, like as if I was on his side. Like I would say things like, I was like, I think I'd be like brushing my teeth or washing my hands at night, and I'd just be like, well, I think maybe Batman gets a little carried away. I mean, maybe Joker's not that bad of a guy. And just in case he was behind the shower.
Okay, well,
that is so.
While we're on this, maybe this will help us with the horror. But what is it so universal about the shower curtain that you think something is on the other side?
What's the unknown?
Oh, I think
because I mean. One of the most famous, like Psycho, one of the most famous scenes is the shower thing.
Yeah.
But even like as a kid, before knowing what Psycho was, I was always I always like when you're in there, sometimes you just gotta look. Like, oh, okay, we're cool.
I mean, it's gotta be, it's similar to the under the bed in the closet. It's like, it's someplace that like it's kind of intimate, but it's hidden. So like if something were to be there and
it's the worst place for someone
to it's be. like I would be so. It's like you're most vulnerable, and you have to know that you're safe.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Because like even unless it's like see-through, which I guess kind of almost defeats the purpose of a shower curtain. So it's got to be scary.
Are we saying so? It's the middle of the night. He's going to the bathroom and he hears a creaking in the shower, and there's the shower curtain, and maybe it's this a really high tense moment where he's reaching for the shower curtain. He's going to open it up.
Oh, you know what it should be to add a little something? The bear has been buried, so it's still tracking dirt. So when he hears noises, he sees like dirt tracks.
Yes. Yes.
Like, so he opens the shower curtain.
It's not there, but it's behind him.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, or do we do where the stuffed animal's there, but he's not moving? Like he's just laying there with the hammer in his hand.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's creepy. If you buried a bear and then it's just there.
Can we do a set like a little bit more of like a maybe when he's in the house, like let's say you're in the kitchen and the bathroom's like a minute walk or something. Yeah. Like you hear something like faintly the "I love you" or like the sound of the whatever like something like. Did I just hear that? Like just something subtle to where you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's a little bit. Yeah. And then see the dirt. Yeah.
That
would be cool. What if he's laying in bed guilty, he hears the faint "I love you." And then he gets out of the
heart.
Yeah. He gets out of the bedroom to try to see what it is. He doesn't see anything. Mm-hmm. He goes in the bathroom. He's still hearing it. And then he sees tracks.
Yes. Yeah.
Then he opens it. He sees it lying there motionless. And then
he's like, oh, my brother's doing this to get back at me. Because I mean, that's the thing. If I was in middle school, that's what I would think if it was in there.
And so he picks up the bear to put it somewhere else, not knowing the bear is sentient now. So as he's carrying it, he's maybe going outside to throw it back in the hole or something, or in a shed or something to hide it. But he goes outside where it's dark and creepy. And as he's holding it, you just hear the bear say something that's not the programmed message.
Playtime's about to get grisly.
Yeah, that's where he says the line. And then he starts trying to hit him.
Wait, maybe it should be so like the bears come back from the dead. He's done the wish, right? Or the prayer.
Yeah.
And he's found out by the brother, and the brother's obviously like, I'm probably going to like drown it in the pool or do something. You know what I mean? Like,
because there is a pool.
Yeah. So, but something like right before he's killed again, it's something to where it's like, if you cross this line, like I'm going to start hurting you. I'm going to start doing something bad. Like something to where it's like I've already came back from the dead. I've already like I'm trying to fulfill this prayer of this little kid or something.
Yeah. The motivation should definitely be the bear. It's almost like a Megan situation. Like the bear, its main goal is to keep the little brother protected. When the little brother feels threatened, that's when it has to kill.
Yeah.
And so it's like this person.
Okay, how about this? He sees the teddy bear in the shower, and he's like, okay, funny prank. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I'll get him back. And so he tries to prank the little brother.
Yeah.
And so he gets hot water in a bowl, and he sets it up, and he puts his hand in it, and he's like, oh, yeah, because he'll wet the bed.
Wet the bed, yeah.
And then, after a traumatizing day of wetting his pants in front of all of the birthday party, he's like, yeah, this will get him back. Mm-hmm. He puts his hand in the water, he gets back into his bed, and then you hear the door creak open, maybe to his bedroom, and you just hear, I love you. And that's what it gets.
Okay. That's tracking.
Or maybe not.
No.
I
really like it. I'm thinking even of doing that and cutting some of the bathroom
I've heard.
stuff.
I think I've heard something to where it's like the human mind processes like a second and a half of silence as rejection, and that's just
I do that on here all the time.
Never mind.
I'll say something.
Robert, we're like, okay, playing it out.
Yeah.
Playing it out.
Then I'm over here yelling, never mind. No, but what were you saying, Rob?
Yeah. No, I almost think maybe if we cut some time in the bathroom, it's just like, he sees it in the bathroom, he puts it back in. And then I think he should mess with the brother. I'm not sure if the water in the hand thing is as immediate that everyone would get.
That's true.
That he's messing with him.
I get that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Something to where he's messing with the brother.
Okay.
And then that's when Teddy Bear walks for the first time.
Yeah. What can you do? What would you do to get? Just hit him?
I don't know. I feel like I never really hit my brother. Like it was like you'd always want to mess with him, or I was always told for like because of my size. Yeah. That like if I hit somebody, I was going to really hurt them. So it was like really put into me. Okay. So the way that me and my brother fought is almost like two silverback gorillas, like trying to be like the loudest in the room to prove dominance, and then that, and also like trying to just be the smarter one and like play them or out, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I almost always lost. My brother got my allowance money many times from bets and deals and all this stuff.
Oh, so it was like, well, I bet I can run around the house faster than you can run around the house.
It was stuff like that. Or it was. Okay. So I'm not saying that's necessarily the way we need to go, but I feel like hitting automatically puts us
at a different place.
Yeah.
I think what we know about this little brother character so far is that he's not a cool kid, and he just like embarrassed himself a whole lot. Like even if it was something personal that like rubs salt in the wound of ruining a whole party.
Yeah. He makes a piñata that looks like his younger brother and just beats it up. And he doesn't fill it with candy. He fills it with like Skittles. Well, Skittles is candy, but like loose Skittles. And then he makes his little brother eat the loose Skittles.
Is this modern day, or is this modern day? Yeah. So it could be something to where like, I don't know. What I like is kind of like perpetuating the embarrassment.
Yeah, I was thinking almost like if there was a video of the incident or something. Was that what you were?
Yeah, something like that. Like
I was trying to think of how to make that work for
like. Because the middle of the night.
That's
middle of the
true.
night.
So it's like he can wake his brother up and maybe tries to scare his little brother a different way.
Or maybe he wakes him up. He has the teddy bear in hand, and he's like, I see what you did. You're trying to scare me. You won't scare me. You're a little kid, and you peed the pool today or whatever. And he's just trying to make him feel bad, like talk.
So this is a horror film, and we should definitely see how gruesome you guys want to get it, because I'm always on board.
Yeah.
Well, also, because it's a B movie that's also funny, what if the whole goal of the bear is to scare the older brother so bad that he pees his pants?
Oh, okay, yeah. And then once he does,
as soon as he
it's
does,
over.
Yeah.
He just flops back to being a normal bear because his purpose is filled. And then also the next morning, like, his parents don't believe him.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Cool. So let's brainstorm how to figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I like that direction.
Yeah. So obviously, a sentient walking bear, that's scary enough, but that's not initially going to get him to pee his pants. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he's got a hammer.
He does have a hammer, yeah.
So maybe he does something with a hammer. What if he builds him a nice shed for the backyard? That would terrify me.
That's true.
Okay. I would love if there was a beat where we just see the bear and it's walking real slowly and slumping over, but it's got the hammer and it's talking about it wants to kill him. The kid is like, oh, I'm a 12-year-old kid or whatever. He just goes and like kicks the little bear and he's like, well, yeah, that's it. I'm a teenager up against a little bear. And then the bear just kind of sits back up and then just starts doing a bunch of karate, and you're just like, oh, it's a lot more than.
So it's like in Megan, which I haven't seen Megan, but I imagine the dancing scene is a very frightening thing.
A little, yeah. Megan's honestly a great movie. Like once
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's
around,
really good.
But I imagine like that's creepy, right?
Yeah.
As it dances.
Yeah. Although the thing about Megan is she is kind of established as a big threat, like right off the gate. Like you could kind of see that she's a little superhuman. But
I don't know what would just really terrify you. I mean, it's a horror movie. What if they have a dog and the teddy bear beats the dog to death with the hammer?
Yeah.
And then puts the dead dog in his bed.
Here's the thing we've kind of done. We've kind of backed ourselves into a horror movie taboo corner to where we either got to kill the dog or kill a kid. And it's like, so it's like, we got to figure out what direction.
Well, okay.
We're going all in, man.
What I think works though is, because again, we're trying to get to the point where we scare him, and then that's the purpose. So throughout watching the film, we think the purpose is to kill the child, and then the twist is he doesn't.
I agree.
So I would almost imagine that maybe the last thing that would do it is the teddy bear manages to have him trapped. Like he's laid on the ground, he is sitting on his chest with the hammer.
Yeah.
He's about to swing on the face, and then that's when the kid pees his pants, and then he notices that pop over, it's over, and dude is just like sitting there. He thought he was about to die, and he has to get up and be like, it's not moving. I guess I'm safe,
Yeah. I think,
Yeah, I think I like it. We just gotta. How do we get from A to B?
So if it is the dog, maybe like while the very opening scene where like the little kid is being comforted by his mom and holding the teddy bear, and the little kid is watching. All he has next to him is like his dog. His dog is wrapped around. So like that's who's comforting him. Yeah. So it's almost like you're gonna hurt who the brother takes comfort in. I'm gonna hurt who you take comfort in.
You think it's funny to kill your little brother's comfort? I'll kill your comfort.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's neat. I like
that. Can be something.
I wonder if you could almost, because with the killing the kid thing, we're pulling the Uno reverse, where it's like we think he's gonna die. He's not. What if the bear acts like he's going to kill the dog, and then it's like he shoves him off screen or something, and we hear a bunch of yelps. We think the dog is dead, but then the dog comes running out. The bear is riding the dog as a horse, and that's how we get to the point where the bear is riding the dog as a horse
with the
hammer out, and he's chasing the kid, and that's how he manages to catch up to the kid, get him on the ground.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay. just an idea that might be too. It depends on where we're going rating wise for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if we combined both ideas? Okay.
Okay.
So, he finds them in the bathroom, right?
Yes.
He goes to put them back in the ground. He's like, I'm like that. I know this is a joke or whatever. Like, but scene's gone.
Yeah.
He goes to get rid of it, and the dog's already dead.
Oh.
And he sees the hammer that was used to kill the bear.
It's bloody.
Yeah, and then like the climax of the movie when he's being chased by this thing, the dead dog is being ridden by the bear.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, that's scary. Seeing your dead dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that. Yeah.
But it's like, again, it's like how far are we swinging here? Because we can go that way.
Yeah,
we can swing. Yeah.
I think you look at that cover. That is the poster for a movie that
is
swings.
true.
So.
I feel like if you go, like, especially since it's VHS, and I'm trying to remember like the glory days of us going to the VHS store and like trying to pick just on the cover. If you pick up that movie and it doesn't swing that far, I feel like I'd be disappointed. Like I wanted to go like, oh dang, you know.
Okay, I think that's about 10 minutes. I think that's about it. We just need to.
Okay. Just want to clarify, make sure we're on the same page on the middle. So just after he kills the bear, he goes to sleep. He hears the bear's "I love you" echoing. He goes in the hallway, doesn't see it. He goes in the bathroom. Eventually, he sees it in there. I
feel like the dead dog would be like the midpoint turn.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That would be like the confirmed.
Okay.
Like this is
welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, because you have the like if it's the four act, then you have the first act being the setup of like the peep pool, whatever, and I guess the turn into act 2 would be killing the bear, and then all of act 2 would be like the "I love you" in the bathroom. Like I know this is a joke. Then the midpoint would be going back to like seal the deal. Yeah, and seeing the dead dog.
You see the dead dog there.
Yeah,
and then maybe he puts the bear down to go look at the dog. He turns around, the bear isn't there. There's a bloody hammer though. Yeah. And that way, we're confirmed something bad is going on.
Yeah.
The bear pops out.
Yeah.
The bear's chasing him with a hammer, and then where are we going to get to the dog part?
I think we just do like a pretty basic sequence, right? So he sees the dead dog, he sees the hammer, and then he goes.
I got an idea. So he's crying over the dead thing. He like puts the bear away. He's like gets on his knees and is like, "Oh, this is what happened to my dog." And he starts like maybe crying, you know, like kind of how P-Boy was doing in the first thing. It's like he's like, you know, like this is
not P-Boy.
Yeah, and then behind him on like the back porch stairs, you hear like the little brother like say his name, like, you know, Michael or whatever. He's like, "Are you okay?" And he like turns around and like then there's like just a moment of like maybe he rushes over to him. He's like, "What did you do to my dog? What did you do?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He turns around and now the dog and the bear is gone. So like now it's like now it brings together both the brothers.
Okay.
And
that's getting it. Yeah. Because I was thinking we spend so much time with the little brother in the first act. We should have more of that. Yeah.
Ooh, we should have maybe instead of the teddy bear stops after the older kid pees his pants, what if the younger brother is the brave one and kills the teddy bear and the older one still pees his pants, but it's like a redemption for the younger brother who got to prove that he was brave, and then a humbling for the older brother.
Yeah, and then like the little tag is like the little brother teasing him with like P-boy, but it's not like in meanness. It's like
we're like a couple of P-boy.
Like, it's like P-boy.
We're not so different. You and I.
Yeah. Although I kind of like ending on the vibe that the older brother went through this alone, and there's no evidence that any of this happened. Like
that's true.
Although I guess now we have a dead dog. That's not a.
Yeah, that's hard to.
It's hard to explain away.
I liked the new direction.
I could live with that. Yeah. And so I would love if there was some sort of tag at the end where it's the next morning and the parents like, oh, what happened to the dog? And then the older sibling doesn't know if he could say anything, and the younger sibling is staring at him, and then he's holding the teddy bear or something. I don't know.
Well, the teddy bear would be dead in this version, like for real.
Yeah,
like decapitated or burned or something.
Okay, but like, could the killing blow just be like a blunt force trauma type of hit, so the kid is still carrying the
lifeless body of a bear?
But only we know it's a corpse. The parents are just like,
yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's fun.
That's pretty funny. It could go back to like, I don't know. It could, if there was like kind of the stinger of like at the beginning something about like prayer works, and that's why the kid does it, and then like. They pray that something like this won't happen again, and like they're in the morning, like hopefully they won't see all the destruction, and then like the dog runs in and like they hold the bear, and they're like,
oh, that's cool.
Something like
that. So we imply that in the middle of the night they prayed for the dog to come back to life,
or something basically like something for it to all be okay, or basically the parents not knowing what's going, something like.
I like that a lot. Yeah, because we established it worked once.
So why not again?
So we still get, because that's what I loved about the previous direction is just like this kid just had a traumatic event, and the parents are just like, it's a normal school day.
Which feels very.
They must just be a little disappointed about that party still. I don't know.
It's good that they're getting along now.
Yeah, they bonded over the Deady Bear. I think we got it in. The whole thing ends with some sort of line where it's like, hey, do you want to take your teddy bear with you to school today?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, get that Deady Bear away from me. Roll credits.
I love you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It should say something. It's cheesy, but the whole thing is like, I love you forever. Like it's something to where like it starts. It starts as like I'll always be there to comfort you, and now it's like I'm always gonna be there.
It's like you hit the hand. It's like, I love you, even if I get beat to death with a hammer.
Yeah. Actually, I like so. The whole phrase could be, I'll always be there for you. But after the teddy bear gets hit, the voice box messes up. So it just stops at, I'll always be there.
Yeah. I like that.
Like, I'll always be there for you. I'll always be there for you. I'll always be there. I'll always be there. I'll.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think we got it. Okay. One thing I wanted to bring up. Since this has to be cool because it's a horror movie. How is the kid killing the teddy bear?
Yeah, you're right. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
I had an idea. Don't know if it'll work.
Okay.
His mom's office has a paper shredder, and just shoving it in the paper shredder. I thought, but I don't know how the logistics work.
I do. I think we're outside during the sequence.
That's true,
okay.
but that's a good direction to go. Lawnmower's not bad,
dude. This whole fight could take place like he has to go to the shed to get a shovel anyway, so it's probably right outside of a shed. We got all that stuff in there.
Okay, so lawnmower or what's the weed whacker? Weed whacker.
Yeah,
not as noisy.
I wonder if there's something, because I love the book ending it. What if there's something pool related that could be just as violent?
Yeah,
I feel like just drowning it wouldn't be
okay.
Violent, but like,
what if it's the thing where I'm pretty sure it's just an urban legend, but when you were in the pool, the kids would always talk about that little like suction place or like where they
how it would suck you in.
Yeah. Just
they suck the teddy bear in. It compresses down to that size, and then it kind of like goes through the piping and is spat back
and
out.
We can set it up because they have to do that to clean the pool out with the pee at the beginning.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
What is that stuff called? I don't know what.
The filter?
Yeah.
It's filter.
Yeah, so
I'm not gonna brag, but I had an in-ground pool for a few years.
Just called the filter. Professionally, that's what it's called.
So maybe the little brother, he yanks the teddy bear off. Now he's fighting the teddy bear. They maybe roll into the pool. He's submerged in the pool. He manages to stuff the bear in the hole. As soon as it's in there a little bit, like the suction's going, it's getting sucked, and you're seeing the little bear, this little paws just like gets sucked in there. You hear a bunch of gruesome noises, and then out in the filter, just this jumbled mess of fur and fluff is.
Yeah, I like
good.
that. It should
cool.
maybe like he's riding the dog and he jumps and like whacks the older brother in the head with the hammer, and like he like falls back in the pool and it's like blood. And the bear like jumps on him and like starts like drowning him in the pool.
Yeah.
So he can't get up. Yeah. So like the little brother has to jump in.
Oh, he jumps in and gets it. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Maybe they both each have to grab an arm. Maybe it's like they both like.
Oh, they do it together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, guys.
And then they just it ends that sequence with like, because does it drown, like basically drain the pool? Is it the same, or is it just like
it runs it through a filtration sense? Like, I mean, not to brag, but I did have an in-ground pool for a few years. It like just, I mean, it's water, so like in real life, I don't think you could actually, a teddy bear wouldn't actually get sucked into it, but it runs it through the piping, through the filter, back out into the pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what comes out of the other end is just a bunch of random like fur and fluff, and it's all wet.
Yeah.
And then like a little beady eyeball or two just all gets spat back out into the pool.
Yeah.
We could even throw in a line of dialogue at the party, like the dad is at the grill and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got this really cool attachment for my pool where it grinds up all the leaves."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I keep going back to the image of like how cool it would be for like the after climax moment for like them to be soaking wet, but like the pool was like drained, like it's like sucked in all the water and then just like soaking wet in the empty pool.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, I love like, I don't know, like it kind of talking about like that setup of like. This new tech of like it completely like sucks everything out and filtrates it, and it's like the cleanest pool like you could. You know, I don't know if that's like too much, but like also it's a dead teddy bear movie, so you know
what it is when the bear's guts are spilled back into the pool, they're like, we gotta clean this up before the parents see.
Oh, and so about blood.
And so we could just cut to later where the pool is empty and they do their prayer in the center of the drain pool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And the sun's coming up. They've been doing this all night.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's it.
And so there's like a line like the older brother says, "I peed myself," and like you can't tell because they're all the whole pants are wet.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's like, "Hey man, can I tell you something?"
Yeah.
Sure, buddy. I peed my pants.
I think the young little brother should just say, "Me too."
The little brother goes,
Yeah.
"Me too."
Or no, it should be reversed. It should be, "I peed myself again,"
and then the older brother goes,
"Me too."
Me too.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
So we got a nice little story about two brothers bonding.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. While I was typing that outline, we need to think of names. So do we have good names?
I forgot our names.
I did too.
We did.
You said Timmy and Tommy, right? Because you like the two names.
But then you said two different names.
I think
Marty.
I think I overheard Marty. Yeah.
Marty and Mikey.
Marty and Mikey's.
Marty and Mikey.
Yeah.
Marty sounds like the older one.
That's fine.
Yeah. Mikey's the younger one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we open. It's a nice sunny day. There's a pool party, and all of the kids are yelling and screaming and jumping out of the pool. And everybody's screaming about, "Oh no, Mikey peed his pants. Mikey peed in the pool. There's pee in the pool. Ah!" And then, of course, like, parents are just shoving their kids away and everything, trying to get all this pandemonium to get calmed down. Meanwhile, Marty, our main kid, he's sitting there with the birthday hat. It's his birthday party. He's just standing straight, his head down. He looks mortified. He thought this party was going to go great. It didn't. His mom like pats him on the shoulder, but then goes to comfort his little brother Mikey, who we can tell is the one that peed his pants in the pool. And Mikey's sitting there. She hands him his favorite teddy bear. He hugs it, and it makes the little noise. Says, "I love you." I will always be there for you. And the mom is comforting the little kid. Marty's sitting there, still feeling sad, but his mom's busy there. He looks over to his dad. His dad is talking to the other dads about, yeah, I mean, it'll be fine. We just got this new filtration system in. It grinds up all the leaves and everything. And then both his parents are occupied. He looks at his dog. The dog walks over to him. He pets the dog. And he's watching all his friends leave his birthday party. He's feeling bad for himself. And he starts to get angry. And so later that day, we see him swipe the teddy bear from his little brother's room. He takes it out back. He gets a hammer from the shed. He smashes it with a hammer so it's all mangled up and the voice box is broken. And then he digs a hole, shoves it in there, buries the bear in the backyard. Anyway, we cut to it's the middle of the night. We see that Mikey, the little brother, has been crying. He folds his hands in his bed. He's like, "Dear God, can you please bring my teddy bear back? I just really want my teddy bear. Can you please bring him back to me? But also, while you're at it, if you could make him talk too, that would be great. But I don't want to push it, God. I just want you to, I just want my teddy bear back." Anyway, that night, Marty, he's sleeping, and he hears this faint echo of, "I love you." Gets up. "I love you. I will always be there for you." He's like, okay, that's the bear. Hold up. He gets out of his bed. He looks in the hallway. He doesn't see anything. He's like, oh my God, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hearing things. He goes into the bathroom, looks in the mirror, splashes some water on his face, and then he hears, "I will always be there for you." He's starting to get freaked out. It sounds closer. He looks at the ground. He sees dirt on it, and it's leading to the shower. He's very slowly going to the shower curtain. Swings it open. The bear's sitting there. It's not moving. It's just all limp, but it's dirty. It's messy, but it's there in his bathtub, and he freaks out. He picks up the bear. He walks outside. He sees the hole has now been undug. He's like, oh no, something weird's going on. Shoves the bear back in, and then he turns and he sees his dog. His dog's laying there. He walks over to it, and the dog is dead. He's like, oh no, what happened to him? He looks back around. He doesn't see the bear where he left it, but he sees right by that hole is the hammer, and it's bloody. When he hears the sound, he turns around. His brother is standing on the porch. Mikey's standing on the porch. He's like, what are you doing out here? He's like, what did you do to the dog? He's like, well, I didn't do anything to the dog. He's like, guess you did. You wanted to get back at me for the bear. And he's like, I didn't know you did something with the bear. He's like, no, I know you did this to the dog. He's like, what happened to the dog? He turns around, the dog isn't there. He's like, oh no, something really bad is going on right now. Anyway, he and his brother are arguing, and then he hears something, and then he hears, I love you. It's getting closer. He turns around and he sees the teddy bear is riding the dead dog like a horse, and he's charging straight at him. And so now Marty is getting chased by this teddy bear on the dead dog. The teddy bear rides by the bloody hammer, picks it up, and is swinging it around. Teddy bear jumps off the dog and starts jumping at Marty and is chasing him with the hammer, and he manages to push him to the ground. He's trying to swing the hammer at him, and then he tries to grab the bear. They're rolling around, and then they fall into the pool. And then that's when the bear's taking the hammer and is trying to hit him with the hammer as he's in the water. He's trying to drown him, and then meanwhile, Mikey's watching this whole thing, and we don't know what he's about to do. But then when we cut back to Marty and the bear struggling in the pool, we hear him jump in with him, and then together the two of them grab the bear, start to push it to the bottom of the pool, and they get to one of the holes at the bottom that they tell you not to sit on, and they shove the bear on it, and the bear's flailing around there, but then you can hear it get stuck, and then it starts getting pushed into the filtration system, and it's getting squeezed way too tight. Its little eyes are starting to pop, its little paws are waving, and then soon the whole bear is inside the filtration system, and we just hear it getting sucked around, and we hear grinding and stuff, and then out in the filtration system, all of this mess of fuzz and fur and this wet, sloppy teddy bear, and its eyes just pop out, spills back into the pool. The two kids look around. It's like, oh no, what was that? We need to clean the pool before Mom and Dad wake up. They drain the pool. Anyway, we cut to the pool is completely empty. They're sitting at the bottom of the drained pool. Little brother is like, I peed my pants again. And then that's when the older brother is like, you know what? Gotta admit something. I peed my pants too. And then the two of them just look at each other knowingly. And then the little brother folds his hands again. And he's like, "You God, please. I made a mistake with the earlier prayer. Just please let everything get back to normal. Just tomorrow, just like it never happened." And then anyway, the next morning, they're sitting there. The pool is filled up. They hear the dog running around, and they both look shook. And then the mom is like, "Guys, we're gonna be late for school." And oh, Mikey, you want to bring your teddy bear? And he's like, nope. And then, do we have an end tag or something?
It was like, that's not a teddy bear. That's
a Deady Bear. And then we cut to black.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we already know the name, and this has been Deady Bear, written by
Gunner Willis,
Robert Therrell,
Wedge Wulf, and Chase Bridges.
All right, dude, while we have you here, before we go, I want to talk about Wages a little bit.
Okay,
because that's such
absolutely.
a cool short film. And I had the privilege of being on that set. It was really good. I don't get to watch a lot of other directors work a whole lot, so that was really cool. But
it was so fun to have you.
I wanted to ask for forever. And I'll even say that maybe some of the listeners should watch that short film. We'll have it linked in the description. But
yeah, no, it'll be there.
What inspired that? How did you start writing that?
Oh, so I actually wrote that like a couple years before I got to make it. And I was going to do an anthology feature that was it was called Yards.
I have heard of this.
Yeah. And it was all like different kind of, I treated it like funny Twilight Zone was my original like thought process.
Okay.
So they were all like slightly supernatural comical things that all took place in like one like kind of outdoor setting. And then I wrote this one, and this is the only one I really liked. And then I came back to it a couple years ago, and I just kept working it and rewriting it, and it was just something I couldn't like let go of. And that's usually the ones that like I have to make.
Oh yeah.
So and the basic like framework of it has been the same since the first draft. It was just like all of the character stuff and all of like the specifics is what I worked on. But that was the reason I started it, was for an anthology feature that never happened. I just took this one little bit.
Yeah. So let me make sure I have the concept right, because I didn't know you that well at the time, but I was around people that knew you. It's like, hey, Gunner has this like great idea. Was the whole thing that it was just a bunch of shorts and all of them are one location? They take place in a backyard?
Basically, that's basically the idea. And it was like I had the opening one like featured like two older men that were like bickering neighbors. One was like mowing his lawn in his underwear or something, like, and the other guy was like trying to enjoy his coffee, and he was like mad that his neighbor was like being indecent in his front yard. And like they were talking about like people they knew in the obituaries. And then all of a sudden, like the Grim Reaper pulls up in like a Trans Am and like tries to take them. So like they have to like work together to like beat this thing.
Oh, that's funny.
And like, so it was like little things like that. Like I even had one like, I tried to like figure out like what different definitions of yards I could do. So like I did like two beach houses, and a guy like put in some like classical music on his earbuds and was trying to read, but his neighbor was screaming for help because like a beach shark had started eating him. So like he was like trying to like see how long he could, see how long he could last. Yeah. But then he like finally helps him, and like it kept going to where like this guy with like no arms or legs anymore was like thanking him for saving his life, but he couldn't go on by himself. So he had to like live with this guy. Like it ended with like him like burying this new friend after like living a lifetime together. It was like super, that was awesome. It was like really like silly. Like, I don't know. I kind of love the idea of like picking a one line kind of like joke scenario and seeing how far I can go with it. That's kind of where it started.
Dude, so all these ideas sound so great. What do you think it is about Wages that like that one stuck and that one you had to vary?
I got to interject real quick. Yeah. Give me an adjective. Any adjective.
Horrifying.
Carry on.
What
about Wages stuck to where those?
I think it was, honestly, I think it was the. I think it was like the religious undertones of it that really like drew me more towards it. And that's something that I've been more and more like drawn to, is like something that can kind of, because I was raised in the church, and I was raised in kind of like, you know, very specifically in the Bible Belt. So as I've kind of developed as a creator, I find myself able to fill in the gaps with myself, I guess, a lot easier when there's something like that to grab onto. So I think that's what kept it. I'm trying to find the right word. I kept going back to it because it was something there that I didn't even really know why I kept being drawn to it, but it was that aspect of it of what does. I don't know, this idea of it's scary to lose my faith, but it's also scary if it's like real. Like I'm at this point of where like, since I'm at an age where I have to decide myself, this feeling of I'm kind of afraid no matter what choice I decide is where I was at with it.
That contextualizes the film really well. Like I'm thinking of the whole plot now. It's like, oh, that reads, that tracks.
I'm glad.
I mean, we've talked about this before. It was like you have to put your full self in, right? And that's usually what yields the best results. Like I for the longest time tried not to have anything churchy or religious in something because I thought people wouldn't think that was cool or whatever. But like the moment I leaned into some of that experience, that's when things started happening.
It's so funny you say that, because that's a lesson I've like been learning the past few years, is that I find that every door that I'm hesitant to open is the one I need to open for like the project to become what it needs to be. So every time I'm like, oh, that would be too much work, or like, oh, I don't like, that's not the direction I need to go, I keep hitting a wall, and I'm like, okay, let me just like think about opening this door for a second. And that's always what gets it through to the next stage. So I agree. I also kept myself from doing anything religious or anything talking about my upbringing in that way, because I was so afraid of having a conversation with my grandmother about it.
What does this mean?
Yeah. And, because you have like, you know, you grow up in that type of world, and like there's, you know, I grew up with movies, and I was allowed to watch a lot more than a lot of my peers were. Growing, I went to like a Christian high school too, so like there was a lot of things on the don't watch list for a lot of people. So I was lucky in that way. But there's still a very, you kind of get an idea of what's allowed, you know, to watch. So I was very careful not to do anything that I thought could be outside of that safe box, just because I didn't want to be told that I was doing something wrong in my art. Like because my family have always been very supportive. So I felt like if I did something that made me lose that, it would really cripple my ability to keep doing it. Because I don't know, in this industry, it's really hard to stay confident in yourself without that support system. So thankfully I haven't done anything yet to make them not like my stuff. Yeah. But
maybe when they see Deady Bear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Give me a noun, any noun.
Noun. A proper noun or
doesn't matter. Any noun.
Picture.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think this is something our listeners would be really interested in. And you don't have to go into the whole spiel of it, but
Sure.
you have a really unique way in which you track and outline theme throughout your whole story. Could you talk a little bit about what you do? Because you sent that stuff to me and Chase, and both of us have been really helped out by it.
I'm really happy to hear that. It's something that I'm still like working on. So it's something that I really, it all came from, I've been working on a feature for a couple of years, and I tried to make it with some producers, and I got feedback from one of them that just straight up said, like, this is a really bad script. Like they said, I think the words, an exhausting slog was said, and like everyone's entitled to their own opinion. The reason I bring it up is like, it made me realize that I'd spent so much time developing my directing craft that I had never, I always kind of treated writing as like my way of getting to set and telling the stories I want to tell, but I didn't work on the craft of it. So in trying to develop the stories I want to tell, I started working on this thing called theme plotting. And I just, as a movie lover and viewer, I love being able to rewatch something once I kind of know what it's about and see how like every little thing is part of that thing, but I've never been able to achieve that, I feel like. Yeah. So what I do basically is I kind of first I get the two conflicting ideas of the theme, and I kind of make it into a 1 point line, or a single line, and I plot each of the main characters somewhere on that line of they're closer to believing this belief, closer to believing that belief, and kind of see what the playing field is. And that way you kind of know where each of these characters are going to be coming from. And then I do a scene by scene film plot. So I do a line kind of straight to bottom, and then I'll number like the scenes I have in my outline, and I can kind of show what side of the argument is winning in each scene. Like, hey, this side, scene 1 is representing the, I'm trying to think of a theme specifically, but like if you had to, like, it's best to live in faith or best to live in fact. Yeah. And you can kind of say, well, scene 1 shows like the pros of living in fact and the cons of living in faith. And then the very next scene kind of flips that. It's like, hey, here's the cons of living in, vice versa. And I kind of allow myself to it's not necessarily building an argument, but like building a framework from knowing that each scene pushes the theme forward and kind of develops it more and let it be, I guess, an argument, but it lets me it helps me figure out where I want to go and make sure that every scene there is there for a very specific purpose and not just like, man, I think it'd be really cool for this to happen. And it also helps me realize like why I want to put things in there. I think I do a lot of outlining, the very first outlining, kind of like a gut thing, like this feels right. And this allows me to put together like why it feels the way it does. And that allows me to continue to develop it in the direction it needs to go rather than me just guess that, it feels right, so I'm just going to keep going with that. It allows me to kind of really contextualize it. So
yeah. I like what your approach is, and I've heard other screenwriters talk about this, but I think typically how it's like taught in English classes is like the theme is like a 1-word thing. Yeah, like this is a film about loss, a film about forgiveness or whatever. But the best way to drive a story forward is to have two opposing ideas. Yeah. Like the example of what I'm working on right now, it's the story about love versus fear. So like on your chart, love would be over here, fear would be over here. Mm-hmm. Depending on each scene, you like list out each scene and then plot like where on the graph they are. Yeah. And then you just see this big zigzag going all the way down. Yeah. And I love thinking about theme that way. It's helped my story a lot because
that makes me really happy to hear.
Because with my story, it's like on the love side, love requires vulnerability in a dangerous situation. That's not always the best thing.
Yeah.
Whereas on the fear side, like there could be safety in fear. Like you're fearful for a reason. So they're parts of the events of the script where characters are forced a certain way.
Yeah.
Neither decision is necessarily bad, but like for what they want, they need to land on one side. It's really cool being able to look at one graph and see the whole film. Like that's what I think is so great about your system.
It has been really helpful. And I think what it also does is, I can't take a lot of credit for like the conflicting ideas. I definitely kind of everything I've done, I've been reading and watching a lot.
But you were the first person I've seen to like make the visual like that, which I think
I've definitely did that too. I'm just a very visual learner, and like everything when I write, I have to put it on cork boards and everything first. So that really helped me, and it makes me really happy to see that it's helped somebody else. But I think the main reason I really love the conflicting ideas and putting it visually like that is that it forces me. If I make sure that I relate very deeply with both sides of the argument. And then I actually try to, each scene where it's winning or one side is winning, trying to really make it win and right. It allows me to process two different conflicting ideas within myself and see, I don't know, I'm very interested in both sides of the argument being wrong. Like I love seeing like it helps me, because you were mentioning earlier today when we were at lunch that making these films helps you process the emotions that are harder for you to do just by yourself. I relate to that so much, to where it's I'm struggling with this idea of really, how do I live in this world? And it's like, these are the things that I'm wrestling with right now. And I can put it in a way to where I can dramatize it, to where I can see, I don't know, it's almost like putting a character through this dilemma so I can see what they can do and then decide if I agree with those decisions.
That's 100% what I'm doing. Because again, I was like, you want to live a life of love, but love opens you up to be hurt. But if you live a life where you're never going to get hurt, you've closed yourself off to love. Like, and that's the central argument of this thing. And I want to, we shouldn't talk about your projects, but I want to know the central project of like what you're doing now.
Real quick, Robert, give me an adjective.
Squishy.
Okay. It's so I think I saw it. I recognize it in you. When he says it like that, you have a second of how embarrassing is it that I'm a writer and I have to take a second to think of what that word means. It's like I'm about to prove on camera that I don't know what an adjective is.
An adjective.
And you wait and he goes, yeah. It's like, okay, cool. I was right. That was what I thought it was. Great.
Would you be comfortable with saying what's the thing versus thing of what you're doing now?
So the feature that I've been working on, it really is kind of what I said earlier, is this idea of faith versus fact.
Okay.
And it's this struggle of kind of my religious experience, not only just growing up, but like where I am right now, and this idea of, do I trust the words of the people that I grew up with, that I know love me and believe in something beyond that, they all of that, the faith side of it, or do I believe in the facts that I can see, that I can prove, and kind of this scary idea of I go down the rabbit hole as an adult of like learning more about the fact side and see that everything is really faith, and part of the human experience is having to come to the terms that you will never know. Yeah. Like it's even something that really shook me to the core is part of the script is I watched the video on interviewing like some of the top science. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson was on and they were
Was
asking.
Bill Nye there?
I don't think Bill Nye was there, but I wish he was. But it was something like, you look back in history and people know the facts. People know, like, you know, the big example is like the earth is flat and how long it took for that to be proven wrong.
Or like a heliocentric versus geocentric universe.
Something like that. Yeah. And they were asking, like, what is something that we understand as fact today that we probably have something wrong? We probably will shift our understanding in the upcoming future. And across the board, it was gravity. It was like our understanding of gravity is not like it's probably not what we actually think it is. So it's like those type of ideas of like I believe in God and I can't, you know, what I can't see and what I can't, you know, and all of these things of like, but I also, this idea of like, you can't believe that because you don't, all the reasons to have it, right? All these doubts that I have, but at the same time, like every choice you have to live in faith that the person that you heard it from is right. And it's like this idea of like, you know, and it kind of going into like how everyone really just believes what they hear on the television and what they hear from work and what they hear from people they love. And it's all the same thing of like what we actually physically experience personally is really all we know. But even then we don't even really know because you learn more about reality and like how even our relationship with what we see to a second by second basis it's just this kind of me wrestling with that existential fear of like, what is truth and how can I trust in it? And just kind of come to terms with you will never know. And you just have to somehow figure out a way to keep going and hold on to hope, regardless of knowing anything. Yeah. So,
and I know our listeners can't read the script yet, but I have. It explores all that, but it is also a really fun genre script.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's what I was about to say. Is like you guys are both talking very deeply about these things, and it's often that a writer will talk about something so deeply because it's very personal to them, but then you read it and it's silly.
Yeah, you know, it is silly. It is fun. It is scary.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I won't use your guys as an example, but I'll talk about what I've been writing. Yeah. It's a very silly movie.
Yeah.
But each character is dealing with a different form of a theme that I'm trying to figure out myself.
Yeah.
So it's a deeply personal script.
Yeah.
But it also, you know, Bigfoot's chasing them around.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think honestly, that's my favorite. Like, because those are the movies that made me love movies. Mm-hmm. Like I was 4 years old when I watched Jurassic Park for the first time, and changed my parents had to force me to change out of Jurassic Park underwear. Like I love this.
And you're still wearing them.
Yeah, yeah, they didn't win. But there's something about like, I don't know. I feel like the way that we as humans process emotion and story and ideas, really, I think entertaining stories, just the storytelling format is the best way that we can internalize ideas. So doing it in a way that you don't even really know what you're being told is, I think, the easiest way for, like, I'll put it for example, because I'm butchering this explanation, but if you were to say like, hey, don't go out in the woods, you'll get killed. Mm-hmm. It's a warning, and it's like, hopefully you'll follow it. And in the movie version, that person who's told that definitely would not follow. Right. But if you really don't want them to go in the woods, you tell them like, hey, the last kid that went in there got ripped to pieces, and they still haven't found the guy who did it. You know, you do that. That story, like, you internalize it. Like, I get the idea of like, if I go in those woods,
there's a moral. There's an example. It's like the boy who cried wolf. They tell you that whole fable to show, hey, don't lie.
Yeah. So, and I've done a lot of like thoughts over kind of the purpose of storytellers over time, and you know, like the idea of the prophets of old, of something where, you know, divine influence or not, like, regardless, they still were telling stories in a way that, like, you know, basically warning people.
Yeah.
They were able to see the world in such a way and flip it around in a story-like type of situation, or they tell a story that reflects the problems of the world that they see around them in order to hopefully enact change in some way. And it feels, I don't know. I don't want it to sound like I feel like writers should be, trying to change the world or something like that. But at the same time, I feel like you should be working to change your own world, like it's like, I feel like a writer's mind, so many of the writers that I know have see the world in such a similar or filter the world in a similar way, where they process everything and the way they have to, they were just the way they were born. They process things in story form in order to understand the world around them and help communicate how they see the world to people around them. So it's, I don't know, I feel like it's almost like a one of the genres of people is writers, and that's just how their minds work. But I don't know, like I said, I could be wrong about it.
I want to see if you relate to this, because
but before we get to that, Robert, give me a plural noun.
Steaks.
Wait, what did you say?
Steaks.
Steaks?
Yeah. I was thinking sloppy steaks. We were talking about. You should.
All right.
I want to move the conversation to acting real quick, because you also had that. But real quick, you mentioned something about profits. I feel like
it's all about the money.
other profit.
Oh.
I was thinking, because you were talking about the religious background. Like I feel like part of the reason I process through story, and I have to, is because I was raised on stories. It's like that was everything in the Bible, and also like being taught about Jesus. It was stressed to me at an early age that like Jesus tells you what he wants you to do through stories and parables. Yeah. I feel like that being such a big part of my life is what like framed my mindset that way.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So I was like, that's how I understand it. Cause like that was how I was taught morality, and how still I like engage with that.
It was. Yeah. No, I relate to that. Yeah. Word for word, really. Yeah. I think, honestly, I don't have too much to say. I feel like I would just be repeating what you just said, because it was really well put. But I think you're absolutely right. Especially, I would say, I would argue that I think people anywhere process, like internalize story the same, or in at least similar fashions. But the way that we were brought up, and the way that we reference stories in our mind are very similar in that way of like we very quickly attached morality to stories, to where even if people can internalize ideas through any kind of story, it's not the same kind of weight that it carries maybe than someone who was brought up religiously with like, these stories are not only real, but that they tell you exactly how you should live. And if you don't live this way, then you're not living the best life that you can be, which to a little kid adds a lot of pressure to, live the way that, the story teaches.
Guys, I can't wait for you to see this movie Gunner is working on. It's going to come out at some point.
At some point, baby. I'm hoping. Either that or I'm going to die trying.
That's right.
Yeah.
Woo!
I've been trying to get it made for over 2 years.
Yeah.
So any producers on here? We got 3 people here making features. So
no producers are watching us.
I know, but I thought maybe worth a shot.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the one time.
Dude, before we wrap this up, since we have you here, also I want Chase to ask some questions, because I've asked pretty much all of them. But
you seem so passionate, and I got my nouns and adjectives to worry about. Speaking of which, give me a noun.
Oh man, bread. Man bread.
I want to talk about acting a little, just because you've acted in so much. You've probably acted in a few things that people have seen listening to this that they don't know that you've
they
been
have
in?
no idea who I am, but they may have seen me and like not remembered that I was in it.
What are some of your favorite projects you've worked on?
Oh man.
Other than ours, of course.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
other than the season 3 promo video.
Well, honestly, it's funny that you say that. I think my favorite things are when I make stuff with friends, because I think that I've been on shows on Netflix and HBO and stuff like that, and very fortunate for those, and they were a lot of fun. But it's never. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. It's different. It still is. It's a dream job, but it's still a job. Mm-hmm. But things where I get to like really create with friends. I feel like I started making movies when I was a teenager, and I've realized the past couple years that all I've been trying to do by getting in the industry is somehow recreate the feeling I had making videos with friends in the backyard. Like that's the height of everything. So like you joked about like doing the promo, but like literally like those are like my favorite things to do. Like Polly, I did a short with Ryan Polly back in December. Me neither. I'm really excited about it. And I feel like when you do stuff with friends who like really care about like you as a creator and a collaborator, you feel seen in a way that you don't feel seen on like a bigger set, which is nothing against those bigger sets. They're still a lot of fun and, have their own advantages, of course. Yeah. But
like profits.
By profits. But yeah, I feel like the things that make me want to go back out and make more movies are when I'm able to do stuff with friends that just want to do it because they love it so much, and they're like, let's figure this out. Let's what if we did this? Like those type of things, like just make my soul happy. So
yeah, there's a point when I think everybody who makes things, especially when they started making things younger, there gets to a point where you realize you can't just make things anymore. There takes a lot more to it. Yeah. It's like it's no longer you and your buddies in just like a phone or a camera. Yeah. It's like, well, now we got to hire this person. We got to do this because you've reached past a point of no return where it's like you're making the coolest stuff you've ever made. Yeah. But you can't just hang out with your friends and make something. You have to hire a DP. You have to have snacks. Like it's like a thing in film I would have never expected. Yeah, it's like if you're gonna do anything, you have to have snacks. That is true. That is like that was one of the most embarrassing shoots I've ever done. Was I directed a short? I never came out. Andrew Bradford, Justin Robinson were both on it. They helped shoot it. I say they helped shoot it. Like they shot it. They're the only reasons that it looked remotely good. And it was like overnight. It was while I was in college, and it was a 17-hour shoot trying to film like 12 pages. So bad script, and there was no crafty. And there was a point where like we had scrounged together $5 for someone to like, I think it was Kimberly Bradford's wife. I think they may have just been dating at the time, to go run and get like bologna sandwiches. And just so like we couldn't afford anything on it. So it was literally just bread and bologna. And like we had a shot of like people squeezing lime. It was basically like my movie, like, hey, like I started drinking a little bit now, which was like a big no-no and growing up. So it was like my movie of like, hey, it's kind of fun to drink a little bit. So like that's all it was. It was like really bad. But there was like zoom in like Edgar Wright shots of like squeezing the lime into the stuff, and like opening the bottles. And Justin and Bradford were so hungry that they were begging the actors to let them eat the limes after the shot. So like, can I have a little bit? Like they would like to eat the limes on set. Oh man. Yeah, and I've never felt so bad in my life. So like, if you're watching this, bring snacks.
Like number one, if you forget everything else we talk about,
dude, you can forget to pay someone, but if there's not food, people will walk.
Yeah. But in the opposite side of that, if you like put a lot of thought, so Justin Robinson's actually incredibly good at this. He will like not only ask everybody like what they're like, what's your number one favorite snack and number one like favorite drink, which is already really nice. But what he'll do is like he'll print out what everyone likes and give it to the crafty and tape it next to the crafty thing and be like, make sure they have these like at this time of the day. And he'll like plot out the crafty and like, hey, like 3 p.m. like, 10 out of 15 people really love peanut butter and whatever. So like they'll like bring out like this stuff. So it's like, it really makes you feel seen. So it's like, it sounds silly, like snacks, but like when you put that, it makes you as a crew member or a cast member want to put that much effort into their stuff too. So, if you've ever like ask anybody that's ever worked on a Justin Robinson set, they'll tell you about the snacks. I swear, everyone will be like, "Oh yeah, dude, he's the best crafty guy of all time."
How's he as a director? Who cares, dude? The crafty's great, man.
That was so funny. I don't talk about his directing at all. He's an incredible director. I heard Gunner like really talks you up on that podcast.
Oh yeah,
snacks, man, snacks.
Dude, while we're talking about Justin,
he has a beautiful documentary.
Yeah, if you haven't seen My Brother Jordan,
you should all watch
that.
Yeah, there was like a TikTok.
We'll get him on here at some point.
Yeah, please do. It was like a TikTok craze for a little while where like people were like, "This is me before I watched My Brother Jordan, and then this is me after," and they're like, tearing, like weeping,
which is like great for marketing.
Yeah,
but it's still like a weird thing to do as a person that doesn't know him and that story.
I think you're right, but I think he really enjoyed it from what I've heard. And I think it helps see, like there were like random people that like helped it get seen. Cause this guy, like, I think he's got like 16 million views or something. Like it did, which is great. And I'm telling his news, but like, I love talking about my friends so much. Yeah. But like, he tried to get that doc sold and no one would take it. Yeah. And like, everyone was like, no one's going to watch this movie.
Oh,
and he's like, I just want people to know my brother. And then he put it on YouTube and like, it blew up. Oh, I'm going to cry. It's so like,
it's beautiful.
I watched it. Of course I watched it when it came out, but for some reason there was a lot of like stuff going on in my life and I just like thought about it and watched it again.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that person, his brother, just had so much love and like even past death that just couldn't be contained. Cause I remember him working on it.
Yeah.
I knew him a little bit. He worked on that for over like,
it's like
8 years.
Yeah. It was nuts. Yeah. He was working on it almost from the time I met him. Yeah, I would go over to his house, and he's like, "Yeah, give me a minute to finish this little edit." Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and all of his shorts too are really good. But anyway, I can go on here just talk all about my friend.
I don't know him, but he went to the same college that I went to.
Oh, right.
And so there's that kind of connection, which brings me to. So I first saw you when I was in high school. You did Chalk Warfare.
You saw me in Chalk Warfare?
Yeah, so I was like a really young kid.
Yeah.
And I saw that and the So Christmas.
That is wild to hear that I was in that and you said you were a young kid.
I was a kid, yeah. I remember at one point in high school, one night I came across those, because there's 3 or 4 of them now.
Yeah.
There's like, at that point there was 3 of them. And I had come across those, and then I went down this rabbit hole of watching your stuff and watching the So Crispy stuff, and it was at a point in my life where I was like, oh man, I'm never gonna get to where these guys are. It was like, 'cause all I wanted to be was an actor. And it's like, I'll never get there. And then I was like really sad. I was like, I don't know. I don't even have the first clue of how to start doing this. And so I don't think I've ever told you this. First time I met you, in my head, I was like, I'm here. Like I did.
No way.
Yeah, and so it's really nice to have you here today.
Oh, that makes.
I did a shoot with the So Crispy guys. Like I was part of one of their videos, and I was like, I did it.
Dude, that's so cool to hear, man.
Yeah.
I wish you were there just to know. Like it was literally like an abandoned building. Like it, like you say, like
well, the first one was in my neighborhood.
Yeah,
that's why I felt so. Like it was shot in my neighborhood, and I was like,
That's so funny, man. Oh, that's great, man. Oh, that's so funny. They're also really great.
Yeah, they're super nice guys.
Yeah, super nice guys.
Great crafty.
Great crafty. Yeah.
Great crafty.
Yeah. Oh, that's so I remember that was the first time I got that was really early in my career. It's still weird. I've been doing this for 10 years and it's weird to say career.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
You've done some really cool things. Ozark. You didn't list them earlier. Ozark. What's the thing when you were blue? What show was that?
That's The Resident.
That was,
dude, okay. So I got cast to be a blue dude.
Yeah,
right?
not Blue Man Group.
but close. And it's some like real thing where like you take some kind of like, it was kind of, you know how like people like hack like supplement pills that don't actually do anything, probably worse for you. It was like that type of thing, but like it ended up turning people's skin blue forever. I was like, man, this is gonna be so funny. I can play this so well. I was like, I'm gonna be a goofy like blue guy, and I get there. And they have like one guy doing my makeup, and it was like 4 hours, and the whole time, like poor guy, like he was like, I cannot believe it was like last minute. They're like, oh, you got the blue guy, bye. And I got on the set, and I had like some ideas of like, oh, I can my improv a line here, like tweak this, like, you know, make it really as good as I can. Yeah. And I learned very quickly that I don't really like doing cable TV.
Oh, yeah? Talk about that process. So it was just,
and everyone was super nice. Like, it's nothing about crew. Like, it was very professional, but it's extremely restrictive to where, like, the director straight off said, like, hey, like, we're not doing anything funny at all. Like, it's super serious. I was like, okay, I'm blue, but like, I don't, like, you may have cast the wrong guy. Like, just looking at me, like, there was a shot where, like, I'm just looking around and it makes people laugh every time. And it's like,
funny.
I'm just a goofy looking dude and you painted me blue. Like, I don't know if you know who you cast for this. I was like, okay. And I did a scene, and usually I like to do, like, one by the book, and then I'll start playing. Yeah. And then I did the first scene, and the scripty come over, script supervisor, and he said, hey, by the way, you said the word crazy, and it's insane. Okay. And I was like, yeah. And it learned very quickly that, like, TV is, especially cable TV, is very much a writer's medium, to where, like, you don't, it's almost, it reminded me a lot of doing theater. Okay. Where, like, you like, the words are the words, and everything else you can play it with.
And you're doing it the same every time.
Yeah. So... which is great, and I think there's a good structure there. Like you get a job on a TV show for a couple of years, like you're set. Like that's, you know what your job is, but I learned very quickly that's not how I like to create. Right. I like to see what we can do and how we can make it.
So when you did better. Ozark, for example, which is TV, but it was streaming era. Yeah. How was that different?
I do actually have a funny story about that. So I was on Ozark. It's funny that this is going to be on camera now. This is the first season, and I was like, I say I was on Ozark, and I always feel like technically, yes, I was on Ozark, but I'm like in a scene. Like right. I'm really good at getting roles of like the main characters are talking and the camera pans, and I'm like, oh no, and then like I'm not in the show anymore. Like I'm like they need a little bumper to move the scene along. I'm usually that guy. So I'm in episode 3 of Ozark, and I'm like a guy working at a grocery store. And Laura Linney is very mad that she doesn't have ice cream. So that's the scene. But I had no idea. They didn't tell me who was going to be in it when I got cast. They just said, Ozark's a new show filming in Atlanta. Here you go. I was like, great. So I got there, and they're like, hey, we're going to rehearse for our scene. There's your scene partner. And they point, and I see Laura Linney walking over. And I'm like, oh, what is this? And like I looked at the call sheet, and like for some reason, I didn't. That was very early in my career, so now I do this because of this specifically. But I didn't look through the cast list to see if I recognized anybody, because I just assumed it would be people I'd be meeting for the first time and having no idea who they were. Right. And I saw Jason Bateman's name. I saw Laura Linney, and I was like, "What is going on here?" And they're like, "Hey, we're ready for you." And I go to the store, and we start rehearsing with the director, who like directed a few episodes of True Detective, which was really cool. Oh yeah, it is. He was also really great. And Laura Linney was super nice in between takes. She kind of was like very momish, and like she would like kind of like loosely dance and sing, like like really sweet, and like shook my hand and was very supportive. I'm like, okay, we're gonna roll. And as soon as they said that, it's like she just snapped on to like her scary mode. She's like da 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 da. And like I was so like, if you watch the scene, like it looks like I'm terrified, and thankfully I'm supposed to look that way
because you were.
But I literally like in my head I'm like, she is mopping the floor with me. I cannot. How am I supposed to like do this right now? Yeah. So I was so scared the entire time. And they said cut, and I look over and like leaning on like you know that frozen like pea. I would say frozen pea or carrots aisle where it's like kind of lower than the rest of it, in the middle. Jason Bateman is leaning on this, and he has like a deep V-neck with like sunglasses inside, right? And he's leaning, waiting for the shot to be done. He's like, okay. And he walks over, and me and Laura Linney are like this close to each other in the scene. So Jason Bateman comes in, and he squeezes in between me and Laura Linney and like gives her a hug. He's like, hey, good morning. How you doing? So good to see you. And they start doing this thing that I know it's like some kind of inside joke, but they start sniffing each other like dogs. They hug and they go like that. And I'm like I could smell Jason Bateman. That's how close I was, right? So I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And he turns around, shakes my hand and says, great job. I go, thank you. And that was it. That was I wish every time I think about it, it's like, I wonder if I should have. I wonder if should have. Yeah. And then I left. I was there for like 8 hours. Yeah. It was super, super fun. But like, I just will never forget Jason Bateman and Laura Linney sniffing each other like inches away from me.
Oh man. So we're going to wrap this up. Yeah. But surprise, I don't know if you caught on to this, but we wrote another movie while we were doing this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, movie Mad Lib.
Oh, hell yeah.
We wrote a movie called The Terror of the Horrifying Pictures. In a small town, a group of squishy steaks stumble upon an ancient gunner that unleashes a horde of horrifying pictures. The only hope for survival is a dumb bred who possesses a secret weapon that can destroy the monsters once and for all. But as the body count rises, the survivors soon realize that the true terror lies not in the creatures, but in the manly crabs who brought them to life. Coming to CBS this fall. So yeah, this was our first time trying out our interview Mad Lib movie style, which I realized a bit distracting when you guys were talking really deep, and I was like, give me an adjective.
It's okay, I forgot that was a thing. But
hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Gunner, man, thank you so much for being here. That was so much fun, dude.
We're gonna have you back because there's still so much more we could have talked about.
Like, if you lived in town with us, you'd probably just be our new co-host.
I would want to be the Andy Richter of the show.
We just keep you in the corner.
Guys, we have all the Gunner stuff in the description. Check out his short films. Yeah. See you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching this episode.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite episodes of the season.
It was fun, man. I mean, we're only a few in. But yeah.
Well, we've recorded a lot more, though.
That's true. Yeah. That was a ton of fun.
No, that's what I'm saying, guys. Season 3 has peaked here. You might as well just jump off it.
No. Hey, again, shout out to Wedge Wulf. Make sure you're following us on Instagram so that way you can see his art. This was kind of like a collab with both of us. He's going to be doing some art for this, like as if it was a VHS tape. So make sure you're following us on Instagram and him on Instagram so that way you can see that art.
At Dark Moon HV? Is that the...
Yeah.
And guys, we teased it a little in the episode, but we in these outros we've been talking about Gunner's film Skate Away, which we helped out with. Immediately after recording that episode, we locked in and had one more writing session, and then a week later is when we shot that film. So I
don't know what to say about that.
It was a lot of fun. We we got the results for that competition, and little bad news on that front. We're not finalists, so
we just taking L's left and right.
I know. We lost that other award too, so
we're just not meant to win.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying is we're saving up all our luck. We're gonna let our awards luck just stay in the vault for a little bit, and then use it all in the Oscars.
Use it when we need it.
Yeah,
like the Kids' Choice Awards.
Oh yeah,
I low-key really want one of those blimps.
What do you think you would win a Kids' Choice Award for?
I don't even know what the Kids' Choice Awards like categories are, but I think maybe Teen Heartthrob.
Oh yeah, you could do that. Imagine you win that at like 35 years old or something.
Yeah, once I get to that Teen Heartthrob age.
Well, by then the technology will be advanced enough that they could just de-age you like that.
Yeah, I want to win a Teen Heartthrob Award when I'm 55. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Gosh, man.
But guys, basically the status on Skate Away, which we both worked on.
Yes.
I edited. You're one of the stars in.
Yeah, boy.
We've taken it offline for a little bit, and we're gonna do some more edits and then submit it to some festivals. So a lot of festivals have the rule that it has to premiere at their place. It can't be online before that. So like as soon as you guys can watch that film, we will let you know. Just because it didn't win this competition doesn't mean that it's over. There's still an audience out there.
Doesn't mean that it's bad either. It doesn't mean that one of the main actors was bad.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean the editor was bad.
It doesn't mean anyone was bad, really.
No. But this we've tried not to let it ruin our week. It's not even that we didn't become finalists, is that we found out we weren't finalists in the worst way possible.
By thinking we were finalists.
So on the day the finalists are announced, we go on the website and there are a bunch of videos and we're scrolling through and we find ours. And it turns out there was a glitch on the website and they uploaded all the videos as finalists. And so we went like 3 hours thinking we were finalists.
Yeah,
and then
people were voting. We had the most votes.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Gunner is a very talented director, and you guys got to hear in this episode how much fun he is, and so it was a ton of fun. I'm really glad that we got to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too.
Hey man, I know I'm sounding like a downer right now, but it's because I didn't win a Kids' Choice Award yet.
No,
I mean, there's still time.
No, I'm too old, man. No, nah. Hey man, Written By is awesome.
It is, yeah. You know what else is awesome about Written By? Is we turned some of these short films that we come up with into actual films.
Like Undeserted. So Undeserted, I think we gave an update last week in the outro.
Yeah, we were potentially going to shoot like today.
Yeah, like we would be heading out now.
Yeah.
But we're pushing that back because we want to make sure everything's perfect. I've been slacking on some of my responsibilities because I've been very busy.
Yeah.
Losing awards left and right. It takes up a lot of time.
But guys, we aren't postponing Trouble Date, or not Trouble Date, Undeserted for Eddie.
There's another L. Just toss another one. No. We're not like postponing it
for any bad reasons.
Yeah, it's literally just
things to make it better.
Yeah.
There's that makeup look for the old Chase, and it's going to take some more time to really get it right. But once it's right, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. Some of the stuff we're looking at right now, it looks pretty awesome.
Sick. Yeah. I mean, we could have filmed it this weekend at the time of this recording, and it would have been fine. But we just really wanted to make sure that we took the steps to make it better than fine.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to lose another thing.
Exactly. Yeah. We aren't losing again.
You know what's crazy is like I haven't thought about this all week because I've been busy. But like now it really feels like we've been like just thinking about it hardcore all week.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But really you're just processing it now.
Right now. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, thank you guys so much for listening and watching this episode. Hey, make sure that you're following us on Instagram at Written By Pod. You can also follow us on TikTok and Twitter and all of the really cool things, especially, hey, YouTube. We're focusing on the YouTube. My brain's scattered, man. Yeah. But the videos have been doing great. The clips have been doing great. And we were having a ton of fun. So make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. Once again, make sure you follow at DarkMoonHV for this dope collab that we did. Gunner, his information is down below. You can follow him on Instagram. He's a great director, great writer.
Yeah, if you guys want to submit a story topic that goes into our listener bowl, I know today we did the Dark Moon collab, but we're going to draw from the listener bowl soon. So if you want to get your suggestion in there, email them to writtenbypodcast@gmail.com.
We also want to take a second to promote our Patreon. right? We do have a Patreon. It's $5 a month, and you get some like really cool stuff that I think is really cool. So it's like you get to name characters when we make characters in the show.
We got a new batch of name ideas. So.
Yeah, from one of our patrons. The only patron. You get priority suggestions. So when you give us a suggestion, we put it into the listener suggestion bowl 3 times instead of just 1. So it gives you a higher chance. And what else do you get? Names, priority suggestions.
Discord.
Oh yeah, and access to our Discord where we're always cutting up with our pals.
Guys, our logo was designed by Taylor Logry. Our theme song used by myself and music by Drew Simmons at Music by Drew. Y'all know the drill. I'm Robert. That's Chase.
Yeah.
I'm at Robert2_Isaac.
I'm at Chase Bridges, and you just type in my name. I should be the first one that pops up.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week with another rival pitch.
Woo!
Really fun. Rival pitches have been really fun.
They have. I mean, all of these episodes so far this season have been a blast. What is it? Should we give like a little hint of what next week's rival pitch is? What is it? I don't remember.
It's the video game one.
Oh, it's a video game one. Woo! What does
Guys,
that
just
mean?
prepping you for the rest of the season. We start off like kind of strong and traditional with Batman. They get more and more chaotic and weird as the season progresses.
I will say, remembering the one that's coming out next week, solid stories, I think. Solid movie pitches. So you guys would definitely want to listen to that one. All right, we've been talking for a long time.
All right, let's get out of here. We'll see you next week.